Hello YouTube, if you're sick of me doing axes, let me know. I'll just stop. It's like 60 degrees out, it's supposed to rain. It is Saturday, the day before Easter, whatever it is. Is it the 11th? Every time I say it, I get it mixed up. I always remember the 7 days of the month, okay? Tuesday's the 14th, just go backwards. 13, Monday, 12, Sunday, 11, yeah. That's how I remember my days, is pick out what the 7-day is. Kind of just a little trick. Okay, this is going to be kind of more about these flapper discs, okay? I gave $4.50 for these, okay? And you know where. If you don't, ask and I'll tell you. I'm sure you all know. We got a 60 grit. Well, two 60 grits, because that's something popular I'm going to go through. We have 120 for fine finish. Okay? And you treat these kindly, they will last. You start getting aggressive, they will not last. These are not like a DeWalt. I have a DeWalt ones that I can show you. I'm still using it. This is a mean old 36 grit. Beware, this will rip up stuff. It'll make such a mess. It's like them sander discs I got. 30-some grit. Okay. $4.50 though. I just happened to be near Harbor Freight. There's another big box store charges way too much. DeWalt's can be over $5 at some stores to get one of these, but I've got them on sale around $4 and something. We are going to use these super wisely, whatever, miserly. That's a word, my scanner going off. Anyway, show you how I got this marked out. This thing starts getting tapering down about back in here where it really comes down, right? They're always low here for a certain distance. They're always thicker out here. See how I got it marked? Well, then I have that ridge right there. That beveled edge I make, if you see my videos where it just starts going down to a bullet shape, we don't want that at all. We're going to experiment on this. We have that marked out just for an example. I don't think we're going to mess with that. This is just for kidding the lightweight stuff. And this is the one with the more squared edge, kind of like a tomahawk, you know, not as rounded. So, it's going to be easier for me in my mind. So, we're going to do this with flapper disc, because we're not going to take a grindstone that gets it hot. If you take a flapper disc and outside when it's cool, it's best when you go outside when it's freezing. It is. If you go outside when it's freezing outside or cold, and bear the cold, you're not going to get a lot of this stuff hot with a sanding disc. And, like I said, this is just for kindling and stuff, so it's just a $12 hatchet, if you haven't seen the video on it. So, we're going to go out and do that on one side with 36 grit, and then we'll come back and show you what it looks like. So, that's about the end of me yakking this long for 3 minutes. Okay, we want to show you our setup. This is going to be better than the vise. See how it's laid down here flat? This is my big table. I've been wrecking pallets. There's a mess everywhere here. But it ain't time for yard work yet. It's not nice enough out. So there you go. Quick shot. Cheapy clamps. All cheapy Harbor Freight stuff. 4.5-inch Harbor Freight grinder. So it's all cheap tools doing this job. So let's go ahead and get this ground. These pieces off. And we'll show you what it looks like. And then I'm probably going to go this way after I show you this direction. I want to do this first. So stay tuned. Hope we don't wreck this thing. This is an experiment. Okay, we did our thinning here and here. Then we went across here. Because we wanted to make sure we had it flat out here. Then we took the ridge off there. So this feels like one flat. There's a little bit of hump right here. Well, 36 grit did so good that we're going to try to maybe finish with 60 grit and save our 120. But this will all be done by hand now. We'll be sitting in a chair. We just wanted to get the bulk of it off there. Because I can feel there's a hump right here. We're going to go one more time across here. And we're not going to try to do it this way with the grinder. We're not going to go this way. That was a mess. We're going to come in this way flat. See? Keep everything flat. See how these aren't tapered? I don't want these to get tapered. These are for doing flat work. Is why I bought them. We do not want to get a taper on any of these. We want as flat as possible. So there you go. We'll do the other side and we'll take you back in and show you at the desk. Wear your proper PPE. Look, gloves. That new drill's so noisy, I've been wearing these. And my goggles. All cheap stuff. These are goat skin gloves. If you want to know what they are, they're very, very comfortable. You can MIG weld with them, but I wouldn't if I was you. I've been brave enough to do small MIG welding because they are very thin and they're not heat resistant. Stay tuned for more. Okay, this is becoming harder than what I thought it'd be. I mean, it is very hard to get rid of this hump. I mean, I went back with the 36 grit again, and I went down this over and over, and I know the dip is here, right? And I've taken off quite a bit up here. It's pretty straight this way. If you lay the straight edge, go up and down, it's pretty straight. So we do have a little bit of dip in there. I said where that hole is. But to get rid of that curve over, it's getting a lot thinner. Said you wouldn't want to hit nothing real hard with this little thing. You'd probably bust the edge off. You know this isn't quality steel, but get back here. Focus. Let's try this. Yeah, it's getting pretty pointy. Starting to look like a chef's knife. I mean, if it isn't perfect, I'm going to give up before I ruin it. We're going to pause, see how much video we've got on this. It's going to be too long a video. No one's going to want to watch it. But it's a learning experience. I'm learning to try to get rid of, like I said, with the dip in there, I've had to take this much off, then I try to get that hump off. And your reactions with the grinder, no matter what you're doing, if you're going like this, and you're trying to hold this flat, my reaction is to try to round it over like I'm used to doing on anything when I'm putting an edge on it. To keep it flat like this is really hard. So I did a whole lot of this coming in this way on the corners. But in order to get rid of the hump, I've had to actually go down, tip it up, and actually keep going across that hump. So I went back to 36 grit. Okay, we'll pause. I'm going to take a file this and see what shows up when we file on it, where the high and low is. Okay, here's our solution. We're going to finish it by hand with a file. See where the file is hitting? That's the high spot where that ridge is. And if you go over here, it's darn near flat. I mean, see where my scratches are all over? I just took the big 1-inch file. The one on the right. So that's the trick. I'm going to take the 1-inch file, I'm going to set her and file the rest by hand. I said, we don't want an edge on her. We do not want this to be done with an edge that goes over there. Excuse me, I need another drink. I'm going to start drinking. Yeah, we don't want to have an edge on here where you see an edge. We just want to come down like a chef's knife. There's a good chef's knife, you're really not going to see no bevel on there. This is the whole idea. They'll have a separate video testing this thing. But off to filing it, and then I promise we will be done with this video. It has got to be too long of a video. But someday somebody may watch this, see what I went through. That's why we're doing it on a cheap one here, just to see if it's possible to put a thin knife edge on a axe. So stay tuned. Well, we did it. It took the file to do it. We got it so thin that the edge is chipping off. So, you know what that means. It's probably going to chip off using it. It still has, at the very last bit, about a 1/4 of an inch. It does round over no matter what I've done. It's just the way it is, because you can go a lot of directions with the file. So it is still humped up in the middle a little bit, so it's thicker like most axes are, and it still has that little hump where it rolls over the way most axes are. So let's pause. We'll get the lighting just right so you can see how thin it is. Oh, we rounded these corners off right here because they just break anyway. So these are rounded over on purpose. Let me pause and we'll try to get this. Okay, this is the best I'll ever do in my life. I'm trying to get over here to a grid line. I'm going to go over here. I got grid lines on my camera. I know I could put some Sharpie marker on it, but you can see that's pretty thin. But I said the last little bit, it does roll over, and that's probably how I'll sharpen with a file. And if it gets too much of a hump, I'll just take the file and go back flat again. Now we're going to probably take our scrubby wheel to get rid of all the file marks, because we're not taking the sander disc to it again. I said it's just hard to, there. I mean, there's file marks like a cylinder is honed, crosshatched, every direction possible. So we're going to take our scrubby disc. We'll come back with a real quick clip of that, and then we're done with this video. We've had enough of this. You will never see me do this ever again. That's it. If I do another axe, I might just show it when it's done, but I am not going to make another video on doing this. This is probably the third attempt at this. So stay tuned. A little bit left of this video, then I'll let you go. Okay, that's with the scrubby wheel the best I can do. We're going to put some gun bluing on it. We have a little bit left. And I did put some Sharpie marker up here just to see if we can get a good picture. One last shot of it. There you go. And thanks for watching. If you stayed in here this long for this video, maybe you'll want to attempt this, but it took a lot of trial and error. I mean, I gave you the tips that I did with the grinder flapper disc. It actually got hotter on the scrubby wheel than it did all the time using the sanding flapper wheels. So, thanks again.